What's up, guys? Enjoy the video and subscribe.
This story is titled, "All I Said Was, You Guys Should Talk It Out. Now my parents are divorced, my aunt's in hiding, and I accidentally inherited a parrot that screams legal advice." Okay, so apparently I'm the human equivalent of a cursed group chat. Open my mouth once, and 3 lives implode. To be clear, I did not cause my parents' divorce, my aunt's disappearance, or the arrival of a parrot who yells objection every time someone slams a cupboard. But I might have nudged the first domino because I thought, hey, maybe a little honest communication would help. Idiot. Let's rewind. I'm Nate, 27M, underpaid copywriter, over-caffeinated insomniac, and lifelong black sheep of the Jennings family. My parents, Helen, 52F, and Dave, 55M, have been married for almost 30 years. 30 spectacularly passive-aggressive years. Think casserole-based arguments, weaponized sighing, and occasional silent standoffs over who gets to die with the most frequent flyer miles. Then there's Aunt Pam, 49F, Mom's younger sister, family wildcard, semi-retired wedding planner turned doomsday prepper. She has an underground pantry and once brought a goat to Thanksgiving, just in case society collapses mid-dinner. We all pretend she's quirky. No one talks about what happened in Reno. And of course, Reggie, the parrot. A gray African something or other with the soul of a divorce attorney and the scream of a haunted fax machine. More on him later. So it started, like most catastrophes in this family, at a barbecue. The first Jennings family fun BQ since the pandemic. Everyone showed up. My parents, Aunt Pam, Uncle Ken, Pam's ex-husband number 2, weirdly invited, cousin Shelby, 20F, TikTok famous for screaming at customer service workers, and me, the sad single guy with chips and a questionable tuna salad. Anyway, I'm sitting there, stuck between Uncle Ken trying to explain cryptocurrency and Shelby doing a dance that looked like she was being mugged by invisible bees. Meanwhile, my mom's on her 3rd wine spritzer and has started saying things like, some people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone, while looking directly at my dad, who's nodding and eating ribs like he's buffering emotionally. So I said it, the sentence that apparently shattered the space-time continuum. You guys should just talk it out. Like, actually talk. Without the audience. No food, no wine, no passive-aggressive chicken kebabs. The table went dead silent. I thought I dropped a truth bomb. Turns out, I lit a fuse. The next day my dad moved into a hotel that specializes in sad continental breakfasts and soul-crushing wallpaper. Aunt Pam disappeared 3 days later after saying she needed to check on her bunker. And then, somehow, through a chain of legal technicalities I still don't fully understand, I ended up with Reggie, who now screams things like, "You have the right to remain silent," every time I microwave leftovers. And that's just the first week. So, you want to know the moment everything cracked? Picture this. 2 people who should never be in a room alone unless one of them is unconscious or heavily medicated, sitting at opposite ends of our moldy old sunroom, trying to talk it out because their adult son, me, a man whose proudest achievement last year was microwaving an egg without it exploding, thought communication was a good idea. I left them alone for what I thought would be 10 minutes. Just enough time to give them space, maybe pour myself a drink. Came back an hour later to find my dad holding a photo album like it was a live grenade and my mom whispering, "I knew about Sandra, Dave. I knew. Sandra. Sandra with the fake laugh and the Pilates addiction. Sandra who used to work with your dad, and who once gave me a bottle of shampoo for Christmas like she was trying to erase my genetics. That's Sandra." My dad didn't deny it. Just sat there holding a family beach photo from 2002 like he'd never seen Sam before. Then the parrot, Reggie, who until this point had only screamed tax-related terms like fraudulent deduction, picked this exact moment to lean into the tension and squawk. "You can't unsuck that, Dave." Dead silence. I swear even the walls flinched. My mom looked at the bird like she was about to baptize him in lighter fluid. Dad tried to explain that Reggie picked that up from a comedy podcast, which was somehow the most humiliating thing said all afternoon. But Mom just stood up, dead-eyed, and said, "You know what? I hope you marry Sandra. And I hope she farts in her sleep so loud it triggers your PTSD." And then she walked out. Dad didn't follow. He just sat there, still holding the photo album, while Reggie waddled up to his shoulder and mumbled, "Objection. Hearsay. You don't love anyone, Dave." So yeah, that's when the line stopped being passive aggression and started being straight-up psychological warfare. The next day, Mom boxed up every family photo, labeled it evidence, and dropped it on the lawn. Dad retaliated by sending her a Spotify playlist called Songs You Pretended to Like for 20 Years and moved into a Marriott with free parking and the energy of a haunted DMV. Meanwhile, I'm stuck with a parrot that now yells Motion TO strike every time I flush the toilet and is developing what I swear to God is a gambling problem. He keeps flinging coins out of my change jar and yelling double or nothing, baby. Also, pretty sure he learned the phrase emotional terrorism from me and now says it in a French accent. Anyway, that was the turning point. The moment the cracks turned into a sinkhole. The moment I realized I hadn't just suggested communication, I'd unleashed a biblical plague where the locusts are legal birds and the frogs are just feelings you haven't swallowed yet. More soon. Aunt Pam just texted me a photo of a burner phone, a disguised wig, and 3 cans of beans with the caption, "Into the shadows I go." By day 3, I was starting to suspect Reggie the parrot had been sent by Satan's legal department. I hadn't slept more than 4 hours straight since Dad moved out and Mom started rage crocheting Go to Hell into throw pillows. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd hear that scratchy, possessed Muppet voice from his perch in the hallway yelling motion denied, you coward. Like, what motion? I was literally just trying to pee. Meanwhile, my parents had entered what I now call the pre-lawyer mating dance. Mom started referring to Dad as the other biological contributor, and Dad left a box of his sweaters in the living room with a sticky note that said, "For when the frost returns to your cold, cold soul." They were each trying to act like they didn't care while also attempting to emotionally waterboard each other from separate zip codes. And then there was Aunt Pam. Oh my God, Aunt Pam. She kept showing up with a gallon of herbal tea and a different quote from Eat, Pray, Love scribbled on her arm like a sweaty life coach with early onset mania. She'd barge in, plop onto the couch, and start talking in this hushed, therapist voice that made me want to chew drywall. You're the heart of this family, Nathan. A bleeding, open wound of potential. I didn't even know what that meant. Have you tried grounding your trauma in salt? Or journaling with your less dominant hand? At one point, she tried to realign the home's energy by smudging sage and accidentally set off the smoke alarm, which made Reggie lose his mind and scream, fraud. Fire. Fraud fire, for 40 uninterrupted minutes. I told her I appreciated the help. She said, you're lying, and that's okay. I told her I needed space. She nodded solemnly and brought over 6 loaves of gluten-free banana bread the next morning, whispering, I used to be lost too, Nathan. By the end of the 3rd day, I was so fried from the tension, the sleep deprivation, and the bird screaming reckless endangerment. Every time I tried to cook eggs, that I snapped. At Reggie. He squawked at me from his cage, tilting his head in that smug little arc he does before unleashing another phrase from the legal exorcism he's performing on my sanity. Hearsay, irrelevant, Your Honor, you're being a little bitch. Shut up. I yelled. Just shut the hell up, you flightless, feathered lawsuit. Silence. And then, the little bastard mimicked the sound of me crying from 2 nights ago. I didn't even know he'd heard that. But there it was. A perfect little echo of my pathetic breakdown in the pantry, followed by, Plaintiff has entered the shame spiral. I lost it. I covered his cage. I covered my ears. I sat down in the middle of the kitchen and started laughing and crying in a way that feels like a cracked pipe under too much pressure. That's when Aunt Pam came in, holding a duffel bag and a hand-drawn map of Arizona. I need to go, she whispered. They found the backup pantry. What? I can't explain. But if anyone asks, I was never here. Tell your mother I forgive her for whatever she's going to say next. And tell your father he was right about the ants. Then she was gone. Just walked out the front door like a doomsday Mary Poppins, vanished into the suburban mist. I still don't fully understand what she meant by any of that. All I know is she left her flip phone in the fruit bowl and her emergency crossbow under the guest bed. And now I'm alone. With a mother sharpening her sarcasm into shivs, a father who communicates exclusively through passive-aggressive Venmo requests, and a parrot who recites my emotional meltdowns like it's his closing statement. This is my life now. And it's only Wednesday. I always thought rock bottom would look like a bad breakup or maybe dying in a Walmart parking lot clutching a rotisserie chicken. I didn't expect it to look like this, sitting in a dark living room surrounded by candlelight because I forgot to pay the electric bill, listening to a parrot scream, "You're losing the jury," while trying to eat cereal with warm almond milk. Everyone's gone. Pam's disappearance was one thing. She's always been one side quest away from vanishing into the desert. But my mom? Helen, emotional martyr, Jennings? The woman who used to sob over the finale of The Bachelor? She left without a word. Just a note taped to the fridge that said, Nathan, I need to live for myself now. Please feed the parrot. Love, Mom. Love, Mom. Like she didn't just abandon her adult son and a talking bird in a house that smells like burnt resentment and expired Yankee candles. Dad? Moved into Sandra's condo like he's rebooting his life with new software and better lighting. Aunt Pam? No one's heard from her in days, except for a bizarre voice message she left on my burner phone at 3:12 a.m. It said, "The pantry has ears. The beans know things. Burn the receipts." Then she hung up. So I did what any reasonable person would do when left behind by their entire DNA pool. I opened Mom's wine, drank it straight from the bottle, and posted a listing online to sell the goddamn parrot. Here's what I wrote. For sale, African gray parrot, free to a good or bad, I don't care, home. Answers to Reggie. Fluent in legal jargon, emotional sabotage, and random screams. Maybe possessed. Probably is. Cage included. Birdseed not. You'll regret this. The first couple who came to look at him brought their kid, which was mistake number one. The minute Reggie saw the child, he squawked, "Custody battle incoming," then laughed like a cartoon villain being waterboarded. They lasted 6 minutes. The next visitor was a woman who claimed she had experience with difficult birds. Reggie took one look at her and said, deadpan, "Ma'am, step away from the briefcase. You're not licensed to handle this trauma." She backed out of my driveway so fast she hit my trash can and just kept going. Another guy lasted 10 minutes before Reggie screamed, "She's faking it." Doug, apropos of nothing, but somehow hit a nerve. Doug started crying and said, how the hell would he know about Mary Ann? And drove off without even shutting his car door properly. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Reggie's a weaponized therapy session with feathers. He knows things. I don't know how. I don't ask anymore. At this point, I've accepted the truth. I am alone. Fully, cosmically, stupidly alone. My mom bailed to find herself. My dad is off playing house with a woman who once called me the slow one. My aunt might be dead or living in a hole in Utah. And I, Nate Jennings, 27, emotionally bankrupt and legally stuck with a satanic squawk box, am plotting revenge. Because if I can't fix this family, I can ruin what's left of it. Plans not fully formed yet, but I'm thinking lawsuits. Petty ones. Or maybe showing up to Dad's new condo dressed as Reggie and just repeating everything Sandra says back to her in a mockingbird voice. Maybe I'll fake a will. Maybe I'll frame Aunt Pam for stealing federal documents from the local post office. I don't know yet, but something's going to happen. Something glorious. And when it does, Reggie will be there, on my shoulder, screaming, sustained, "Motherfucker." Here's a sentence I never thought I'd say unironically. The bird knows everything. It happened at 3:14 a.m. I was half drunk on boxed wine and regret, sitting in the kitchen, shirtless, eating cold spaghetti out of a measuring cup because all the real dishes were in the dishwasher, and I didn't have the will to open it. The house was dead quiet, except for the occasional sad burp from the fridge compressor. That's when Reggie said it. Real calm, real low. Not in his usual DEFCON 5 courtroom screech, but like a confession. Pam said it was Helen's idea. The money's in the Arizona account. I froze. Let me be clear, Reggie doesn't talk like that. He screams. He insults. He occasionally hums the Law and Order theme when I microwave popcorn. But this was a sentence. A coherent sentence. A sentence that made my stomach twist. I turned slowly. He was perched on the counter like some graying legal gargoyle, preening a wing like he hadn't just dropped a bomb. "What the hell did you just say?" He blinked, then muttered, "Statute of limitations, baby." Now I don't know what the Arizona account is, but I do know my mom's name is Helen, and my aunt's name is Pam, and my dad once called Arizona the state of poor decisions and heatstroke. So I did what any deranged abandoned adult son would do. I pulled out my laptop and went digging. Turns out, there is an account, a real one, opened 8 years ago, in Pam's name, but funded with monthly transfers from a separate joint account that listed both my parents. Which is wild because I remember Dad always complaining we were cash-strapped, and that's why I had to go to the community college where the library had vending machines but no actual books. Mom said she was sacrificing her yoga retreats to pay bills. Guess the real sacrifice was honesty. And then I found the receipt. A wire transfer for $14,000 marked private asset relocation, dated the exact month my grandfather died. Grandpa's will was supposed to leave that money for me for college, or to start a life, as he put it in his crinkled typewriter letter. But apparently, my parents and Aunt Pam cooked up a little side heist and funneled it into their desert slush fund. Reggie? Still preening. Still smug. I pointed at him. "You're telling me you knew this whole time?" He just said, "Fraud's not just a crime, it's a lifestyle." So yeah, that was the moment the revenge plan crystallized. Not half-baked, not impulsive. Strategic. Reggie, somehow, was now my co-conspirator. A bird. A foul-mouthed, emotionally unstable, probably cursed feather duster was now my key witness and inside man. I started writing things down, creating a little dossier. I made a flowchart titled Operation Sunburn, because if I'm going to burn this down, we're going to Arizona, baby. The plan? Expose it. All of it. The fake account. The inheritance theft. The hypocrisy. Send anonymous packets to their jobs, their HOA board, their smug little bridge club. I'm going full whistleblower meets tabloid expose, and my wingman is a parrot who now only responds to the name Deep Beak. I still can't believe this is my life. I'm 27. I should be building a career or trying to love something. Instead, I'm plotting financial sabotage with a bird who once yelled, "You're unfit to testify," because I dropped a spoon. But hey, if you can't fix your family, you might as well haunt them. And Reggie? Reggie's in. He ended the night by looking me dead in the eye and whispering, "Let's fucking go." Step 1. Leak the Arizona account documents. No name, just receipts, bank trails, suspicious transfers. I sent them to the IRS tip line, the HOA newsletter, Dad's office inbox, Mom's church group chat, and my personal favorite, Aunt Pam's old doomsday Facebook group where half the members believe Obama is a lizard. Let them chew on that. Step 2. Mail a flash drive containing Grandpa's will and the altered versions they had tried to forge after his death. You'd be amazed what you find on forgotten USBs taped to the underside of your mom's old vanity. Reggie squawked, "Chain of custody, bitch," while I dropped it in the mail slot. Step 3. Wait. Watch. Drink coffee like a war general surveying a burning battlefield. The reactions came faster than I expected. Mom called first. "Nathan, what the hell did you do?" Oh look, she remembered my name. Progress. I didn't say anything. Just let the silence hang while Reggie muttered something like, "Hostile witness detected." "I am being slandered in my own community," she hissed. "The ladies from book club won't even return my texts. Maybe because they read the chapters you skipped, Mom." "Oh, you think this is funny?" She snapped. "Your father could lose his job. We could be investigated." "You mean the job he got by pretending he didn't steal from his dead father-in-law? That job." She went quiet for a beat. Then, softer, deadlier. "Do you know what you've done to this family?" I laughed. Actually laughed. "Yeah, Mom. I gave it the funeral it's been needing for years." Then she hung up. Dad was next. Texted me first with, and I quote, "Hope you feel like a man now. Your mother is crying." Which was hilarious because A, she always cries, and B, the woman once sobbed over a missing Tupperware lid like it was the Titanic. When I didn't respond, he called. Classic dad. Big on volume, short on accountability. "You think you're some kind of hero? You're just proving what we've always known. You're unstable." "Cool," I said. Add that to the list of things you emotionally funded. Right under abandonment issues and crippling sarcasm. Then he dropped the mask. "You think we ever wanted a kid? You were Pam's idea. She told us we needed something to look like a family." I didn't say anything. Just held the phone, feeling this weird clarity, like when you finally puke and everything suddenly makes sense. "We gave you everything," he added. "And you're throwing it away because what? You didn't get enough hugs." "No," I said. "Because you made me feel like I was a ghost in my own life. And now I'm haunting you back." He hung up too. For a day or two, I was high off it. Vengeance had calories and I was feasting. Then, they came back. 2 nights ago, I found both of them standing on the porch. Together. No fight. No bickering. Just this awkward, unified front, like 2 divorced storm systems deciding to merge for one last hurricane. Dad had a duffel bag. Mom had a pie. Reggie took one look at them through the window and said, "Unreliable narrators approaching." I didn't let them in. "You can't just show up here like this," I said through the screen door. "We made mistakes," Mom said, eyes glossy. "We forgot what matters." "Your bank accounts?" "Nathan," Dad said, "this is still your home." "Now it is." I laughed bitterly. "Where was that when you left me with nothing but an emotional support war criminal in a cage?" Reggie whistled. "Birds of a feather, commit fraud together." "I'll sleep on the couch," Dad offered. "I'll clean," Mom added. "Of course you will," I said. "That's what you always do. Clean the mess. Pretend it never happened." They looked at each other. Something like shame. Something like maybe realizing I wasn't the kid they could gaslight anymore. But still, against every cell in my spite-ridden body, I opened the door. Not because I forgive them. Not because I'm healed. But because part of me wants to see how this ends. If this house is going to be a battleground, I want front row seats. I want to know if they'll crack. If they'll run again. If I'll finally get the truth, or just more lies wrapped in casseroles. Reggie perched on my shoulder as they stepped inside. Court is now in session. When I said Aunt Pam vanished, I meant it in the nuclear fallout survivor kind of way. Her house went dark, phone dead, P.O. box emptied. She didn't ghost us. She staged a vanishing act so complete I half expected to see her face on a milk carton next to "Have you seen this woman holding a raccoon in a baby carrier?" But then, she left something behind. It started with a knock at the door. I opened it half expecting another sanctimonious parent apology tour, but instead, no one. Just a cardboard box. No label. No return address. Just a note taped to the top, written in Aunt Pam's handwriting that said, "If anything happens to me, use this to bury the bastards. Burn after viewing. Or post online. Your call." Inside, 3 USB drives. A burner phone. A small leather-bound notebook labeled "Damage." And because of course, an index card that simply read, "Trust the bird. He knows." Reggie let out a low whistle from his cage. "Oh, it's evidence time, baby." The USBs were like something out of a courtroom thriller written by someone who eats expired granola and distrusts the moon. Secret recordings. Bank screenshots. Even video footage of my mom and dad at a dinner table with a notary forging Grandpa's signature. You can actually hear Pam off-screen whispering, "This feels illegal," to which Mom replies, "Then drink faster." The burner phone had photos. Hundreds. Dates, receipts, signatures. Text between Pam and my parents planning what they called the inheritance diversion, like they were planning AF ****************** ing heist movie. My favorite line from Dad: "Let Nate have the sentimental stuff. It'll keep him busy while we sort the finances." Reggie laughed for a full minute after that one. "You got conned, Natey boy." But now we flipped the script. And the notebook? Oh God. That thing is pure chaos. Detailed notes on every member of the family. Pam had a code system. Red ink for financial misdeeds, green for affairs, blue for blackmail. There's even an entire page titled "Helen's Recipe for Guilt-Stuffed Manipulation Casserole." At the bottom of that page it says, "Do not eat this. You'll lose your soul and develop a passive-aggressive rash." It's not just my parents in there. There's stuff on family, friends, neighbors, even the pastor from Mom's old church, who apparently had a gambling problem and once drunkenly confessed to Pam during a chili cook-off. And that's when it hit me. Pam didn't run because she was scared. She ran because she knew the truth had an expiration date. And now she'd handed me the whole rotten feast on a silver platter. It wasn't just revenge anymore. This was a legacy detonation. A full-blown rebranding of the Jennings family name, from quiet suburban dysfunction to backyard Watergate. Reggie? He's all in. "Let's fry the chickens," he whispered yesterday, ominously. The parents? Clueless. They think being home again is healing something. Mom's baking. Dad fixed the mailbox. I caught him humming. It's adorable how peaceful they look. Like they forgot they raised a kid who learned emotional warfare from them. And now I've got the arsenal. Let me paint you a picture. It's a Monday. The sun is out. The air smells like impending doom and store-brand cinnamon rolls. I'm wearing a button-up shirt for the first time since college. Reggie is perched on my shoulder in a custom-made tie. And I am walking into a courthouse with evidence, a lawyer, and a personal vendetta in my back pocket. I filed the suit that morning: fraud, forgery, financial abuse, civil conspiracy. All tidy, wrapped in paperwork Pam basically ghost wrote from whatever bunker she's still hiding in. The clerk asked if I was sure I wanted to press charges against my own parents. Reggie answered for me. "Your Honor, they're guilty AF." Fast forward 2 days. Court summons delivered. Subpoenas issued. Their faces? Priceless. Mom looked like someone slapped her across the soul with a frozen fish. Dad's mouth moved for a full 10 seconds before a sound came out. "This is a mistake," he kept mumbling. "This is a misunderstanding." "No, Dave. A misunderstanding is thinking IE means, for example, what you did was federal. They tried everything. Guilt. Shame. Threats." Mom called me sobbing, voice cracked like old vinyl, saying, "Nathan, honey, we love you." "No," I told her. "You love having someone to blame who won't fight back. You love the idea of me. Not me. Dad tried the tough guy routine. You're tearing this family apart." I laughed. "The family fell apart when you used my dead grandfather's money to fund your secret vacation account and blamed it on the economy." Mom showed up at the house the night before the hearing. She brought a pie. The same damn pie she always made when she wanted to shut someone up. She was crying. Mascara streaked. Real final scene of a soap opera energy. "Can't we fix this?" she said. "Can't we go back to the way it was?" "The way it was?" I said. "You mean when you abandoned me to drink wine and watch reruns while I tried to figure out why no one wanted me around? When you left me with a deranged parrot and a house full of betrayal while you played victim somewhere sunnier?" She stepped forward. "We were hurting too, Nathan," Reggie screeched. "Then you should have gone to therapy, not Arizona." I closed the door on her face. Court day came. They had lawyers. Expensive ones. Didn't matter. Because I had the truth. I had recordings, documents, texts, forensic analysis of the forged will, bank trails Pam had collected like trading cards. Hell, I even had a video of Dad saying, "Just let Nate have the emotional crap. That'll keep him off the scent." He said that while toasting champagne. The judge? Not amused. Now my parents are facing charges. Real ones. Possibly jail time. Definitely fines. Their assets are frozen. Their reputations? Shredded. The pastor who once called me a late bloomer now won't make eye contact with them at the grocery store. They tried to corner me outside the courthouse. "We'll lose everything," Dad said. "You'll ruin us." "I didn't ruin anything," I said. "You handed me the match and then filled the house with gasoline." Mom whispered, "But we're still your parents." I just looked at her. Tired. Empty. Done. Not anymore. They watched me leave. Me, with my bird. My box of case documents. My spine finally intact. As we walked down the steps, Reggie turned to me and said, soft, almost gentle this time, "Verdict. Freedom." Yeah, damn right. I tried to fix them. Now, I'm fixing me. And they can rot in court-appointed counseling while I figure out how to teach a parrot to scream, "I told you so."
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.